the priority. It looks like Coach White has told his starters that we're gonna roll you out there and play these guys heads up and give them a ball game.
And for the starting pitcher for West Fargo, it is Brendan Hammond, who threw an inning, third of an inning against Post State way back almost exactly a year ago. July 12th was when they played at the Gopher Classic last year. He just threw a third of an inning, only had to throw 2 pitches to get a strikeout. So he came in with a count and actually ended up with a strikeout to end the ball game against Post State last year, as they were able to win 11-3 in 6 innings against Post State. Obviously, when you look at the 3 games here for this weekend, it's going to be first. The game is going to be against right here against West Fargo. Tomorrow morning against West Central, and then Sioux Falls East will be at 1:15. The Sioux Falls East game is the most important game out of all 3 because it matters for seed points. If you go 1-2 this weekend, the one game you want to win is against Sioux Falls East. Obviously, if you go 2-1, you want to win that game against Sioux Falls East. That's the one you're going to want to win, and Coach White obviously knows that as well. And it seems like they're building the games, building their lineup, and building their pitching rotation around that game, and not starting with game 1 and then going after that. They're starting with game 3 and then building around that.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is that on Tuesday, the Eights have a doubleheader against Harrisburg, and I'm just looking at the latest seed point standings right now. Right now, Pierre sits in 3rd out of the 16 teams. They are behind Rapid City Post 22 and Brandon Valley. Watertown sits in 4th, and then Harrisburg sits in 5th. So that doubleheader on Tuesday has lots of big ramifications for Post 8 in terms of postseason seeding. So every game is important, but every game against a Class A team from here on out is important, because as of now, the Eights only have 6 scheduled games left against Class A opponents, depending upon whether they get to Sunday in this tournament or potentially who they see in Sunday next Sunday out in Rapid City.
Yeah, so those are important games, but first you want to start on the right foot in this tournament against West Fargo, as they were about to take the field for their warm-ups. Again, first game of 5-3 for Sioux Falls East over West Central, as that game got over just right around a little after 5 o'clock, so we're still around 10 minutes away from getting this ball game started. We'll step aside for 3 minutes, come back with the pregame show. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to West Central, to Humboldt, as West Central hosting this pool, as West Fargo taking infield right now. John Wickler alongside Greg Dean, as this is a matchup that is a year ago, just about July 12th, back in the Gopher Classic. These two teams met, and it was an 11-3 win for West Fargo in 6 innings in that in that game, which Post State didn't play very particularly well in that Gopher Classic. It went 1-4 in that pool, but played some pretty good teams. And West Fargo, again, still a good team. They swept Renner a couple of days ago. This is a team that's playing really well, playing some good baseball. And Post State's got to be coming out with Kobe Carr on the mound and here at the start game 1 to play well to put them in a good spot going into tomorrow to try and play on Sunday.
Yeah, and West Fargo is just coming off of a trip to the Twin Cities where they went 1-2. They split with Excelsior, Minnesota on Tuesday, and then lost to Eden Prairie 3-2 on Wednesday. So I mean, those are both high quality programs. Excelsior and Eden Prairie are both high quality Legion programs. So the fact that they were able to play 2 close games and win 1, as well as the fact that on Monday they swept Renner 12-1 and 4-2. So if anything, the fact that this is their 6th game in the last 5 days, you may look at it and say, depending on where they're at in their pitching rotation and maybe the travel, maybe catch them on a little bit of fatigue. It's hard to say, but again, it's going to take every bit of effort out of Post State to put a W on the board today.
And again, for Post State, obviously you want to win every game you play, but the one tomorrow afternoon against Sioux Falls East, that's the most important out of the 3 in terms of seed points, because, Greg, as we were talking about in the commercial break, that Watertown's bringing down the neck of Pierre as the 3 and 4 seed. A win, keeps you kind of on pace above Watertown, but then you get a doubleheader against Harrisburg on Tuesday. You play Post 22 next weekend in the Dakota Classic, as well as Sioux Falls West. So there's a lot at stake here in the next several games, and this one tomorrow afternoon against Sioux Falls East is the biggest one. But again, we got a game here this afternoon against West Fargo, in which Post State would love to win that game and put themselves in a good spot going into day 2 of this Renner Dakota Classic. Laps are being exchanged at home plate, which means first pitch is coming up. Back in 2 minutes with first pitch. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Humboldt as we get set for game 1 of Post State's tournament at the Renner Dakota Classic as they take on West Fargo. Their only game tonight. They will start at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then we'll play at 1:15 or just 30 minutes after that first game is over, as they'll take on West Central at 11 a.m., and then it'll be the 1:15 against Sioux Falls East, as they will look to try and be that top team to advance without having to worry about anything else. If they're 2-1, then it turns into a lot of waiting around and seeing how everybody else goes to see if they can play on Sunday in the semifinals, whether it be 11 a.m. or at 1:15. John Wegler alongside Greg Dean here this evening, as we glad you could join us. And again, as the night goes along, we may have to be interrupted for severe weather coverage. We'll talk about severe weather when it gets towards the area, when it gets in the listening area, and tell you what the plan is going forward. That will be a topic in between pitches and in between batters here this evening. As we go through the starting lineups, we'll first start with West Fargo. Quade Peters will lead things off. He's playing center field. Dustin Mertz is the catcher, batting second. Braden Jacobson will bat third, playing second base. Ryan Reynolds, not the actor, he's cleaning up. He's playing first base. Alex Erlab, the shortstop. I'm glad you laughed at that. Thank you for that. Is batting fifth. Alex Erlab, the shortstop, batting fifth. Anthony Villanueva is the right fielder, batting sixth. Drew Klaus is the designated hitter, batting seventh. Nolan Dodds, the left fielder, batting eighth. And Lance Oster, the third baseman, as he bats ninth for West Fargo. Brendan Hammond is the pitcher here for West Fargo. They're going to go against Kobe Carr, who is ready to go for the first pitch, as get the umpire. That joke, Greg. I appreciate that.
I appreciate your humor. You have a very, very good sense of humor. I think ours is sort of similar, which means that the Dean boys don't necessarily appreciate my sense of humor.
And hopefully, though, since the good thing is Blake Bradley will still listen. Ben is playing, so he doesn't listen to us. And hopefully everybody else, they enjoy our humor, the subtle humor sometimes. Kobe Carr is ready for the first pitch. If you don't, hopefully enjoy at least the play-by-play as the first pitch comes in, and it is low for ball one here at 5:33 this evening.
Kobe Carr, his sixth appearance on the year for Post State, 13 2/3 innings so far. He is 1-1 on the year, allowed 10 runs, 5 of them earned, 11 walks, 8 strikeouts to go with a 2.56 ERA on the year so far.
And the 1-0 is over for strike one to Quade Peters. Went 1 for 2 against Post State. Scored 2 runs. That was back on July 12th of 2019. The Gopher Classic will try and lay down a bunt foul it back, and it's now 1-2.
85 degrees at first pitch here in Humboldt, South Dakota. The eights today wearing their green tops, green and black and gray caps, gray pants with the black and white accents on the jerseys. West Fargo all white uniforms with green and orange accents.
Here's the 1-2 from Carr to Quade Peters. That one's fouled back, and it will remain at 1-2. The press box off to the first base side, right above the first base dugout. So any ball that's hit down the right field line is going to be a tough one for me to quickly shoot my head out the window to see as it goes down the line. But we'll do our best here. The camera here for the YouTube channel has got all the infield on the first base side, but none of the outfield. 1-2 pitch and an off-speed swing and a miss by Peters. And a leadoff man is retired by the strikeout, and there's one down to open up the ball game.
Ninth strikeout of the year for Kobe Carr. Good to have Kobe back in the lineup after being gone earlier this month on the mission trip down to Mexico. So we're I know Coach White is happy to have his arm back and hopeful that he can continue his role. He's thrown some good innings for Post State so far this year.
First pitch is a somewhat of a check swing, but all the way through, and a strike one to Dustin Mertz, the catcher. He went 1 for 4 in that win of last year against Post State. West Fargo had just 7 hits. They scored 11 runs, but only had 7 hits. They had 6 walks that were helped out, as that's a line shot right to the third baseman, Keenels, and there's now 2 quickly down here in the top of the first inning as we go around the horn defensively for Post State. River Iverson's out left, Matt Lusk in center field, and Jack Van Camp is in right field. Lincoln Keenels, who's returned to the lineup after dealing with a little bit of a hip flexor, he's back in the lineup. He's playing third. Garrett Stout's at short, Andrew Coverdale at second, Andy Gordon's at first, and Cade Hinkle is behind the plate as Kobe Carr comes set and will deliver the first pitch to Braden Jacobson, and that one will be bounced in for ball one. Jacobson also went 1 for 4. He did drive in 3 runs, though, with a triple in that win against Post State last year. The first 7 guys actually got in a bat against Post State last year. The 1-0 is missed low, now 2-0. So they return a lot from that last year team that they hit the ball well. They played well. They were fundamental in that ball game, and that's going to be a big key in this game. Is going to be fundamentals. This could be a low-scoring game, could be a high-scoring game, but a sacrifice bunt could be the difference. That one's fouled out of play over the top of us here in the press box, and it's now 2-1 to the number 3 hitter, Braden Jacobson.
Yeah, and what the fact that you've got 7 returnees tells me that this is a veteran West Fargo team, much like Post 8 is a veteran team. I mean, everybody in the starting lineup today for Post 8 returns, with the exception from last year, with the exception of the new addition of Keenholz over at third base.
There's a ground ball to the right side of Stout, a long throw. That one will bounce and will get away from Andy Gordon, and staying on first base will be the number 3 hitter, Jacobson, and that'll bring in Ryan Reynolds.
Stout had to go a couple steps to his right and backhand the ball. Actually went to a knee to backhand the ball and came up and unfortunately just short hopped Andy Gordon over at first base, and Gordon wasn't able to pick the throw and went to the fence. Not a lot of foul ground here in Humboldt, so not really an opportunity for the West Fargo runner to advance on the play.
Here's Ryan Reynolds. That was ruled in there. So runner on first with 2 down here in the top of the first inning. The runner is off of the first pitch. It's called a strike. The throw to second, and diving in safely is Jacobson. Count is 0-1 to Ryan and Reynolds, who also went 1 for 4. It's kind of a theme to the first, or these 2, 3, and 4 hitters going 1 for 4. And after that, everybody drops off to not having a hit against Post 8 or not having that bat against Post 8.
I suppose this Ryan Reynolds has any acting ability?
Should have asked him. I guess we could ask him.
I'm doing post-game interview?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have the humor of the actor Ryan Reynolds as he fouls that one, and it's now 0-2.
Baseball entertainment tonight?
That's right. There you go. Baseball entertainment tonight. I guess we could ask in between innings, we can ask the West Fargo team.
Good.
They're literally right below us right now. Count is 0-2. The runner at second and Jacobson. He's in scoring position. Carr will come set from the stretch. Here is the 0-2 to Reynolds. There's a line shot out into center field. Lusk going over for it. Still going. He'll make the catch on the run, and that will retire the side. And a good play from Matt Lusk as West Fargo goes scoreless in the top of the first inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 man left on base. Half an inning complete. No score. Post 8 coming to the plate. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the first, as we go through the Post 8 lineup, leading off will be Garrett Stout. He's playing short. Lincoln Keenholz, the third baseman, batting second. Andrew Coverdale's the second baseman, batting third. Andy Gordon will bat cleanup, playing first base. River Iverson, the left fielder, batting fifth. Matt Lusk will bat sixth, playing center field. McGuire Rasky batting seventh as a DH. Jack Van Camp batting eighth, playing right field. And Cade Hinkle is the catcher as he bats ninth against Brendan Hammond of West Fargo. He threw 2 pitches against Post 8 in the last inning, in the 6th inning, as he threw those 2 pitches, got a strikeout, and ended the ball game. Carter Dodd picked up the win. He is no longer with the team. He's one of the few guys that played last year that is not actually. He is not with the team this year. First pitch to Garrett Stout is over for strike one. Stout went 1 for 3 last year against this West Fargo team. Only 5 hits for Post 8. Gray Zabel had 2 of those 5 hits, and of course he's up in Fargo now with the North Dakota State Bison. Stout did drive in a run in that loss as well. Count as 1-1 to Garrett Stout.
Stout comes into the game hitting .418, leads the team in just about every offensive category, 38 hits and 91 at bats to go with 9 doubles, 3 triples, 4 home runs, 28 runs scored, 17 RBIs to go with that 418 average.
As the 1-1 is fouled away, now 1-2. Hammond delivers the 1-2 pitch. That will climb the ladder and swing and miss. And there's one down. The leadoff man struck out in both the top and the bottom of the first inning. As that'll bring in Lincoln Keenels, who one of the 3 guys that did not get in that bat against West Fargo. And obviously Keenels is the one that there's no chance for him to get in that bat against West Fargo last year, not with the team. Now he returns after being lifted last game. That was this past Tuesday, as he's able to score on a double from A.J. Gain as the first pitch is upstairs, but he slowly scored. Andrew Coverdale almost passed him up trying to score. He got removed for a hip flexor, but he is feeling better and back in the lineup as he'll ground the 1-0 pitch to the right side, fielded by the second baseman Jacobson, and there's 2 quickly down here to open up the bottom of the first inning.
And just watched Keenholz as he came down the line, and he looked like he was moving okay. So that's a good sign for Keenholz and the Eights as you go through this weekend, because obviously at this point in the season you really are trying to avoid any kind of injury.
Here's Andrew Coverdale, the number 3 hitter for Post State. He's 0 for 2. He went 0 for 2 against West Fargo. First pitch is taken for strike 1. As we go around the horn for West Fargo, left field is Dodds, as he will play out in left, and then center field Peters. Right fielder is Villanueva, as that one's popped up in foul territory, and it will fall foul out of play, and it's now 0-2. Left fielder is Lance Oster. Erlab's the shortstop, Jacobson the second baseman, Reynolds at first, and Mertz behind the plate. He just ran out of room as he could not retire the side in order, as Hammond will continue to try and work to retire the side in order.
Yeah, Coverdale, the other team leader in most of the offensive categories, comes in hitting 385. He also has 91 at bats, 35 hits to go with 7 doubles, 3 triples, 19 RBIs. He shares the team lead with Andy Gordon in RBIs, leads the team in runs scored with 30 to go with that 385 average.
1-2 pitch is bounced in, now 2-2, as Coverdale's been able to work the count even after being down 0-2.
Yeah, like we said, Coverdale it just seems like every ball he hits hard. He hits on a line or hard ground ball someplace. You just don't see him not make good contact. He barrels up just about everything. He does a good job of making contact. Only 6 strikeouts in 101 plate appearances so far this year.
This is his only game of the weekend, unless Post State makes the championship on Sunday, as he'll be doing some military work. And military work means he's going to be doing a lot of work this weekend, as he'll join that tomorrow and Sunday. There's a 2-2 that's grounded to the left side on the back end. Nice job by the shortstop. Throws high, and it will be an infield single for Andrew Coverdale. The chance that the opportunity that Erlab had the chance to make is pretty impressive as it was. It took somewhat of a nasty hop to him, and he's still able to glove it on the back end, but Coverdale runs well enough that there is really no chance. And that's the first hit of the ball game for either side.
Yeah, and again, just a well-placed ground ball for Coverdale for his 36th base hit of the year.
Here's Andy Gordon, first baseman, the cleanup hitter. Coverdale will lead away from first with 2 down here in the bottom of the first inning. First pitch to Gordon is over for strike 1. Gordon went 0 for 3 against West Fargo last year, as he was able to put the ball in play in all 3 at-bats. Did not strike out. 5 strikeouts for Post State in that loss last year. And so we'll wait on the 0-1 pitch from Hammond. That one's upstairs. Coverdale back pick, safe at first as he dives back in safely.
Gordon also one of the team leaders in batting average, kind of what you would expect out of your top 4. He comes in hitting 365, 27 hits and 74 bats. Shares the team lead in RBIs with 19 to go with 4 doubles, 2 triples, and that home run first weekend of the first doubleheader of the season down in Mitchell.
As another pickoff attempt and back in safely is Coverdale. Count is 1-1 to Gordon. As Hammond here's the 1-1 pitch. Gordon swings and misses, and it's now 1-2.
Hammond likes to elevate his fastball. I mean, he's gotten that up in the zone. That's the strikeout pitch he got to Stout, and he threw that one up in the zone a little bit and got Gordon to chase on that one as well. So he's confident with that high fastball tonight.
From the stretch, here's the 1-2 pitch. Gordon swings and misses and strikes out, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. We played 1 full inning. We have no score. West Fargo back to the plate. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Humboldt, top of the second inning, it is going to be 5, 6, and 7. Alex Erlab, Anthony Villanueva, and Drew Klaus to lead things off for West Fargo as they have got just 1 base runner so far. Both teams with 1 base runner. Here's Alex Erlab. The shortstop went 0 for 4 in that win against Post State last year.
And we've talked about the depth of the Post State pitching staff this year, but if you're Coach Brian White, you certainly want to see Kobe Carr go deep into this game. I mean, ideally, you'd like to see him throw a complete game if possible. But if you can get him to eat up, 3 or 4, 5, 6 innings, I mean, that would really be ideal to keep some stress off of your bullpen today.
And that helps with the first pitch as it is popped up and caught by the third baseman, Lincoln Keenel. So with 1 pitch, there's 1 down here in the top of the second. And here's Anthony Villanueva, the right fielder. 0 for 1 against Post State last year. As first pitch is upstairs for ball 1.
Yeah, those 1 pitch outs are a pitcher's best friend. We always talk about a 4-6-3 ground ball double play being a pitcher's best friend, but I think with pitch counts coming into play, I think a 1 pitch out is a pitcher's best friend.
The 1-0 is over at the knees, now 1-1. That was a pitch that from the way Kate Hinkle caught it. A lot of times, teams won't like that call, but where Hinkle is set up and where the pitch crossed the plate are two different ways, as that one's fouled out of play. Now 1-2.
And we've talked about, and every umpire is going to have a little different zone. And so if you can have an umpire, especially, today Carr being the right-hander, if that zone is a little wide on the outside part of the plate, if you can work that part of the plate, you're really in an advantageous position.
1-2 is grounded to the right side, fielded by Coverdale. The throw to first is in time, and there's 2 down here in the top of the second inning. That'll bring up Drew Klaus, the designated hitter here for West Fargo. This is both teams' first game of the tournament, and a win here puts you and Sioux Falls East as the 2 1-0 teams as they beat West Central 5-3 prior to this game. That was the first game and the only game that was played at 3 o'clock, as there's an amateur baseball game after this one is concluding. That's why we started earlier than the other 2 pools, as everybody will get started at 11 o'clock tomorrow, which Post State will be facing West Central in that first game at 11. First pitch is down low and goes to the backstop. 1-0 here to the DH Klaus.
Yeah, picturesque setting here in Humboldt. In this baseball softball complex, you can see I-90 in the offing. Field faces straight to the south, so it's a nice setting for baseball.
There's a line shot to the left fielder. Iverson barely has to move to make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Kobe Carr in the top of the second. We have played at 8.5. We have no score. Post State and West Fargo scoreless. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the second inning. It is no score between Pierre and West Fargo. 5, 6, and 7, just like it was for West Fargo. Here for the 8 says it's going to be River Iverson, Matt Luskin, McGuire, Rasky. Iverson will step to the plate first. Half of his hits, as we saw another 1 or 2 on Tuesday, come through the infield, and we'll see if maybe Iverson will try and drop down a bunt on the first pitch. Here's the first pitch to him. He'll swing and pop this one foul, and it will land foul out of play, and it's now 1-1. That's a complete guess. And I don't know if it actually landed foul out of play or not. It landed foul. Iverson is still to the plate. I know that one.
Yeah, this is radio, John. Nobody's going to know.
That's right. could have said it. Yeah. I think I said that story last year about Harry Carey, the 0-1 pitch. That one's grounded back up over the middle, fielded by the shortstop on the run. Tough throw and not caught by the first baseman. He was coming off the bag as it was, and Iverson, his speed will get him on first base again, as they will charge an error to the shortstop on the throw from Erlab. And the leadoff man is on base here in the top of the second, or the bottom of the second. That'll bring up Matt Lusk, the center fielder.
And River Iverson again reaches base on a ball not hit out of the infield. He has an uncanny ability. So
he knows where to hit the ball in the infield. And, usually you think, well, there's four guys in the infield, then they get the pitcher, that's 5, and then you got 3 outfielders. It'd be easier to get base hits to the outfield, but Iverson likes to make it a little bit more difficult, I guess. As the first pitch to Lusk is outside for ball 1. So I guess share the story again of Harry Carey. Years ago, he'd call in a game in Chicago, and guy was up to the plate. Obviously, he was sitting with the crowd like he normally did, and probably having a few drinks, and I'm sure he had a few drinks at that point. As Iverson is picked off at first base, and there's the first out, as he was off the bag and didn't get back in time on the throw.
Heads up play from the West Fargo catcher on the back pick down to first base, and he was able to to get Iverson in there. I mean, we've got a really good angle on the play at first base, and he got Iverson by about a foot.
So there's now 1 down. The count here to Matt Lusk is at 2-1, as Hammond will work from the windup. The 2-1 pitch, Lusk will fly it out towards the right center field. Moving over is the right fielder. He'll make the catch and Villanueva, and there's now 2 down. So I got to kind of hurry up with my story here. There's 2 quickly out, as they'll bring in McGuire Rasky, the designated hitter. So guys up the plate don't know who it was, but hit a foul ball, and in Harry Carey's greatness, he goes, "There's a high fly ball. If it's fair, it's God. It's just foul." And somebody that I know was at that game, and he said that he turned from behind home plate. He turned and watched it go over the backstop of Wrigley Field. But he said if it was fair, it's gone. And there's no chance it was going to be fair. So Harry's having fun, obviously, on the radio. Nobody's going to know that. And especially at that time, there might not have been on WGN. So nobody knows at all unless you're at the game. And, of course, Harry Carey, I guess everybody else who was around Harry would have known that. But as Rasky will foul it off the handle, and it's now 1-2 to Rasky. But I guess now we got the YouTube up, and now I can't really do that as much.
Yeah.
I guess I could do it here with right field. Nobody can see. As Rasky will float this into center field, the center fielder moving over, and Peters will make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning as well for West Fargo. So 2 completes, no score between Post State and West Fargo. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR. Today is KCCR.com. Top of the third inning here as Post States and West Fargo are scoreless. It'll be 8-9-1. Nolan Dodds, Lance Oster, and Quade Peters to lead things off for West Fargo as they have no hits so far. They've just reached on one error, their only base runner of the ball game. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. And Greg, I hear that you're going to tell me a Harry story now.
It's not Will Ferrell who does this. I can't remember. I think the guy's name he's a comedian by the name of John Campanera, who does a great Harry Carey imitation. But he's got a bit that he does where he goes, yeah, we got a shutout going in Milwaukee in the bottom of the fourth. It's the Cardinals 4 and the Packers 2.
And not surprisingly, Harry might have said that on the at one point. First pitch is over for strike one to Nolan Dodds, the left fielder. Always had fun, and Harry loved to. He'd always make things interesting when the game would kind of slow down a little bit. It'd be a little bit of a lull. He'd try to make things fun and talk about kids with having cotton candy all over the face. So that's a bunt down the third baseline. Good placement. Throw to first is in time to get a scoop from Gordon. And the leadoff man is retired. What a throw by Carr. Great job to pick out with a bare hand and a good scoop from Gordon all the way around to get the leadoff man here in the top of the third.
Yeah, and that was a well-placed bunt, and it really took a really strong effort from Kobe Carr not only to come a long way off the mound, because that ball was right down the third base line, but then to wheel and make a strong throw and a great pick by Andy Gordon at first base.
And that's the type of team that West Fargo is. They put down a perfect bunt. You have to make a perfect play to get them out, and that's what Carr and Gordon had, and that's to open up the top of the third inning as Lance Oster will take ball one, the third baseman here for West Fargo.
Saw a picture in my Twitter feed about a week ago. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it was Cardinals broadcasting legends, and in the photo was Jack Buck, Harry Carey, and Joe Garagiola.
Those are three pretty good broadcasters.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have John Rooney is a good guy. I've talked to Rooney a couple times or once, just a couple times to try and make myself sound a lot better than what I am. I talked to him once. He's a nice guy. Him and Mike Shannon do the games for the Cardinals. The count is 2-0. And of course, even here in South Dakota, the KMOX broadcasts them out of St. Louis, and you can pick up KMOX on a nice clear night here in South Dakota. Carr will come from the stretch. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one, actually 3-0 pitch. That one misses way upstairs, so it's a one-out walk, and that will bring it back to the top of the order. And bring up Quade Peters as he struck out the first time. One out, one down here in the top of the third. Of course, every once in a while, you get a little stop of play, and Harry, hi!
Yeah. Yeah, you just never quite knew what you were going to get at any point in any Harry Carey broadcast.
That is true. Very true. Kobe Carr will have a pickoff attempt. That one's in the dirt, and a good stop there by Gordon. Diving back in safely was the runner at first, and Oster. Second man to reach base so far for West Fargo with one down in the top of the third. The other man was Braden Jacobson and reached on an error. Post State in double play depth, looking for a ground ball to finish out this top of the third inning. Carl comes set from the stretch. Here is the first pitch, and that one will get to the backstop. And it will be to second now in scoring position as Oster with one down here in the top of the third. Hit the 6 o'clock hour. Listen to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here on this Friday evening. Glad you could join us, and we'll keep you updated on any kind of severe weather. Of course, Zach Nelson, news director, he is on standby here for the night, as it looks like there's more chance than not we'll have some kind of severe weather, and we'll let you know if he's on the country stations or if he'll overtake the AM station as the pitch misses outside, and now 2-0 to the leadoff hitter in the order, Quade Peters. And, of course, we're broadcasting on our YouTube page, KCCR Sports. We may have to go to just that if Zach Nelson has to take over the AM studio. Here's the 2-0. That one just misses outside, maybe a little low, and now 3-0, and Carr's in danger of walking back-to-back guys. Although with the base open at first would put the double play back in order.
And Carr had been really cruising through the first 2 1/3, but running into a little bit of trouble here in the top of the third inning with the one out walk, and now potentially in danger of walking the leadoff hitter.
So the count is now 3-1. Carr will come set from the stretch. Here's the 3-1 pitch. That one is outside, high and outside, and it's now back-to-back walks and first and second with one down for Dustin Mertz, who lined out to the third baseman Keenels in his first at-bat.
Yeah, we certainly would another line out someplace to put the eights in line for a double play would be a nice opportunity right here.
So Carr looking to work around the two walks here in the top of the third inning. Man in scoring position, that's Oster. On first is Peters. Here's the first pitch to Mertz. That one is over for strike one. This is their first good chance here of the ball game for West Fargo to break the scoreless tie in the top of the third. Both State yet to have anybody reach second base in the first two innings. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's just above the letters, now 1-1. Not a bad job there by Hinkle trying to frame that pitch.
And kind of what you'd expect out of a veteran catcher like Hinkle. He's been behind that dish his third year of starting back there. So he's got a lot of innings and a lot of experience.
1-1's fouled out of play, and it's now 1-2. There's my chance to say if it's fair, it's gone. Just foul. The count is 1-2.
Skied over the fence.
Count is 1-2 here to the catcher Mertz. Carr will come set from the stretch. Here is the 1-2. There's a fly ball into shallow center field. Lusk will come on. He's not going to get there in time. He's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third and stopping at third will be Oster, and he read that ball perfectly and gave him a chance to try and score. If Lusk would have bobbled it at all, he would have been able to score, but it is just a base hit. Lusk played it perfectly to keep him from scoring. Now the bases are loaded, though, with one down, and for Braden Jacobson, who reached on an error in his first at-bat.
Yeah, it looked like Lusk maybe got a little bit of a late jump on that ball and came up just a couple of steps short of possibly making a play on that ball.
Here's the first pitch to Jacobson. There's a line shot that'll get over the top of the third base coach and foul. And we'll hop back into fair territory. Count is 0-1 here to the number 3 hitter, Braden Jacobson, second baseman for West Fargo. And that last hit, that base hit from Mertz, looked like it was hit off the end of the bat. Looked like it from where Lusk was probably playing. Looked like he probably thought he got a hold of it. Instead was a blooper that he got off the end of the bat to drop in for a base hit. Here's the 0-1 from Carr to Jacobson. There's a ground ball to the shortstop, Stout. He'll throw to second for one. Back to first for a double play. They got him, and they get out of the inning on a 6-4-3 double play, and that will end the top of the third inning. What a play from Stout to Coverdale to Gordon. We've played 2.5, and we have no score. You listen to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. It is the bottom of the third inning. No score between Post State and West Fargo. 8-9-1. Cade Hinkle and Garrett Stout. If anybody gets on base, it'll be Lincoln Keenels. Heyman and Carr. He was able to retire the first man on a good play, and then he got the ground ball that he needed. And what a quick turn from short and second from Stout and Coverdale, and a stretch by Gordon at first, and another split second, and it would have been a 1-0 game with a fielder's choice, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. And give a lot of credit. I mean, that's why you've got Division One commit shortstop. Certainly Andrew Coverdale at second base certainly has the potential to play at the collegiate level, and then we know that Andy Gordon certainly is a capable defender at first base, because he's picked a lot of throws over there. So good defense all the way around on the infield for the Eights on that one.
Here's Jack Van Camp. He'll get his first at bats of the ball game here in the bottom of the third inning. Heyman is on the mound for his third inning. I'll try and get it. Third time's a charm. Here's the first pitch to Jack Van Camp. That one will miss low for ball one. Van Camp, he was the starting pitcher in that loss last year to West Fargo, as he went to 4 innings, gave up 9 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. There's a ground ball to the right side, fielded by the second baseman Jacobson, and on to first and in time. Van Camp kind of slipped out of the box, didn't get going right away, but the leadoff man is retired. Here in the bottom of the third inning, 3 in a row now retired for Heyman. And here's Cade Hinkle, went 1 for 3 against West Fargo last year, as he faces Heyman for the first time. First pitch is inside for ball 1.
Hinkle headed to Rochester Technical College this fall. 2-year college over in Rochester, Minnesota. Looking to extend his baseball career and then possibly move on to another collegiate program after his probably 2 years there. Yeah,
and Steve Gray, the high school baseball coach, talked to him because he didn't get a chance to have his full signing, because by the time he had it was going to get that signing, that in-person signing, as that was fouled back, and it's now 1-2, or 2-2, to Hinkle. School had ended because of the coronavirus, but talked to Steve Gray about that, and he said, boy, somebody's going to find a good catcher, as he fouls that one back late on the pitch, but was able to have a good 2-strike swing to stay alive. He's a very good receiver, very good pop time to second, and once he gets to college, they're going to put a lot of extra muscle, just like every college does, as he swings and misses. There's a strikeout, the third strike of the ball game for Heyman, and I'll bring it Garrett Stout. But he does all the little things right. He hustles. He gives you 110% every time he's on the field, and add more muscle to him, add more, the offense will come as he plays more baseball. As Stout will fly this one into center field, and that one will be caught by Peters, and that will retire the side. And we'll finish that story on Hinkle in the top of the fourth inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for the pitcher for West Fargo and Heyman. We have played 3 complete. We have no score between Post State and West Fargo. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the fourth inning, no score between Post State and West Fargo. It is 4, 5, and 6. Ryan Reynolds, Alex Erlab, and Anthony Villanueva to lead things off. All 3 are 0 for 1 so far, as Carr is working into his fourth inning. Was able to get out of that jam with a double play ball and a couple of strong innings. And Greg, you might have that pitch total in front of you to tell me how many Carr has had through his first 3.
Yeah, Kobe's done a nice job through his first 3 innings. 3 innings of work so far. 1 hit, no runs. Just the 2 back-to-back walks there in the top of the third, the 1 strikeout, 38 pitches so far. He's right at about 13 pitches an inning, 24 of them for strikes so far. So he's doing exactly what you would like to see him do right now, which is not only eat innings but be very efficient on the mound and hold down a pretty good West Fargo club.
Yeah, it's not only just go out there, and if you start getting shelled, you're gonna keep taking it, because we want to get all the pitches out of you that we possibly can as the first pitch is over for strike one. Being efficient, keeping your team in the ball game, that's not even a bonus. That's what you want. You want that. You don't want just eat innings. We want you to go out and eat innings and be effective, and that's through 3 innings what Carr has done so far for Post State. Is now 1-1 to Ryan Reynolds, the cleanup hitter in the order, leadoff man here at the top of the 4th. He flew out to the center fielder Lusk to end the top of the 1st inning. We haven't asked the West Fargo team if he's a good actor. There's a ground ball to the left side, fielded by Keenels at third. Throw to first is going to be in the dirt, and a good scoop from Gordon over there at first again. And the leadoff man is retired to open up the top of the 4th.
Yeah, and a heavy stretch of games coming up for Post State. Three, possibly up to 5 games this weekend. The doubleheader in Harrisburg on Tuesday, and then they head west to the Veterans Classic out at Post 22 Thursday through Sunday, where you play 6 games.
Yeah.
You play 5 games in your pool, and then a sixth game on Sunday as a placing game.
First pitch to Alex Erlab is over for ball 1. Miss low. Yeah, that's the thing. And 2, you got Sioux Falls West and Post 22 in your pool. Those are the games where you're going to build your rotation around. That's where you're going to put your top 2 guys who you want to throw, and then build everybody else after that through Thursday afternoon, then Friday morning. And I think, oh boy, I have to go back and look at that schedule. If it's if they play Sioux Falls West Friday afternoon, or Friday, I guess would be
Yes.
Friday morning.
Yep.
After the second game of the day for Post State, which would be Central Time Friday afternoon, still Friday morning over in Mountain Time. There's a swing and a miss by Erlab. And the count is now 2-1 to the shortstop. He was 0 for 1. He popped out on the infield. Lincoln Keenels took it right next to the mound to open up the top of the second. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That one will miss, now 3-1.
Yeah, 11 games, at least 11 games in the next 10 days for the Eights, possibly as many as 13. So you really need to get some efficient starts out of your starters in the next 10 days. You really are looking for them to go deep into games, because even though this pitching staff is fairly deep, we've talked about the injuries that they've faced, the loss of McGuire Rasky for the year. Hopefully they will get Aaron Booth back later this month. We're crossing our fingers on that. And then obviously Gray Zabel has left the team to go to football camp up at Fargo.
3-2 has popped up into right center field. The right fielder Van Camp will come over. He'll make the catch, and there's now 2 down here in the top of the 4th, and that'll bring up Anthony Villanueva, who ground out to the second baseman Coverdale in his first at bat back in the top of the second. And almost every team goes through somewhat of an injury spurt, but for Post State, it seems like the last 2 years, granted you don't want any injuries, but it seems like it's hurt the pitching staff more than anybody else. Not the position players. The pitching staff has been hurt the worst, which I guess you would tend to see with more arms getting hurt being used in the summer. But unfortunately for Post State, it's been the pitching staff that's taken the brunt of the injury bug that's gone through the team.
Yeah, and again, crossing our fingers that Aaron Booth will come back maybe as early as next weekend, and if so, that will be a big boost to the team if he can return. Again, we'll just have to wait and see how his recovery goes. But again, we're certainly wishing Aaron the best, and hope his recovery continues to go well.
1-1 pitch. That one will bounce in now 2-1 to the number 6 hitter Anthony Villanueva. 0 for 1 last year. He's 0 for 1 to start out this ball game. Post State in the bottom of the 4th will have 2, 3, and 4. Keenels, Coverdale, and Gordon. And they're hoping to have another chance to break a scoreless tie. 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Count is 2-1 to Villanueva. Carr from the stretch. Here is the 2-1. Here's a line shot over to right field, right at Jack Van Camp, and the side is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Kobe Carr. 3.5 complete. No score between Post State and West Fargo. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning, we have no score. Post State has 2, 3, and 4. Lincoln Keenels, Coverdale, and Andy Gordon. Anybody gets on base, it'll go to River Iverson. Just one hit so far between both sides. Post State had a hit in the bottom of the first. West Fargo got their lone hit in the top of the third. Each team with an error so far as well in this ballgame. First pitch to Keenels is over for strike one. He grounded to the second baseman in his first at-bat. Hammond will deliver the 0-1. Keenels will foul it back, and it's now 0-2.
Yeah, Heyman's pitching line looks remarkably similar to Kobe Carr's, which you would sort of expect in a 0-0 game here in the fourth. He's gone 3+ innings now, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 36 pitches through 3+ so far.
The 0-2 has popped up in foul territory on the right side. The first baseman will call and make the catch, and Reynolds, and there's one down to open up the bottom of the fourth. That'll bring in Andrew Coverdale, who's got the lone Pierre hit so far. That was a ground ball that stayed on the infield. They will beat out at first. So he hits here with one down in the bottom of the fourth inning. First pitch from Hammond is inside for ball one. That's this could turn into a really important game in terms of the pool. The winner of this game, as it's now 2-0 to Coverdale. Obviously the winner of this game is 1-0, but you play Sioux Falls East. If you beat them, then you're pretty much in the driver's seat because they're 1-0 as well. The 2-0 is over for strike one, now 2-1.
And as we get to the middle of the game, going to here at the bottom of the fourth, in a 0-0 game, you got to start thinking about maybe playing some small ball, especially if you get a runner on, get a leadoff runner on to start an inning. You probably got to look at a bunt, steal, hit and run situation. So which is something that Coach White likes to do a lot.
The 3-1 pitch to Coverdale. That one's popped up on the right side. Is it going to get out of play? And it will get out of play just over by the press box.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to lean out and get your foul ball. This is a prime opportunity right here. You don't have any overhang.
I don't know if I have enough room to make that play right now.
Just stand on your chair.
Stand on my chair. And there's the dugout's right there. I can dive out the window, and some of the bench players will probably save me for West Fargo. 3-2 is missed, and then it's a one-out walk, and just the third base run of the game for Post State. And they'll bring up Andy Gordon, who was 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the bottom of the first inning. Yeah, if we get the only problem is if we get a line drive that comes over here, it's going to be hit pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm ducking behind you if that's the case.
I was going to duck behind you. As Heaven will work for the stretch, the first pitch to Gordon is upstairs for ball one. Gordon again went 0 for 3 as well. The catcher and Mertz will go out and talk with his starting pitcher. Gordon went 0 for 3 last year on July 12th of 2019, the Gopher Classic. Post State went 1-4 in that Classic and didn't hit the ball very well, and it seemed like the heat in that middle of July in Minnesota really got to him because that was – I wouldn't say it was – I don't want to say that they were terrible in that stretch, and that was 5-game stretch. But that was probably the worst 5 games that they played all season. And that doesn't mean that they were really bad. It's just that stretch was not their best.
Well, and I think in any kind of season, you're going to have teams that go through bad stretches, and the counter to that is you go through good stretches. I mean, that's why with hitters you call it a batting average. It's a collection of the high and lows, and that's the way a season runs. Is you typically don't play your best every game out. So you're going to have highs and lows throughout the season. And we've talked about the upside that this Post State team has had and has really done a nice job after they got through that first weekend out in Rapid City. They've really played at a high level the rest of the year.
Count to Gordon is 1-1. Hammond will come set from the stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's popped up on the right side into foul territory. The right fielder coming over, and don't know if he made the catch or not. We'll see. It is going to be 1-2 here with one down. No, wasn't sure couldn't see what happened over there, and kind of wait for the umpire to make a call, and then didn't see one way or the other what happened. But the count is 1-2 here to Gordon. To go back to your point about the stretches and play good, play bad. Last year in the Dakota Classic, that was probably Post State's best stretch of games. Going 3-0 in the pool, winning the first game against Brandon Valley, going to the semifinals of the Dakota Classic as Gordon will ground this to the left side. Gets over the glove of the third baseman. Coverdale around second. He was over the pitch. He's going to get to third with one down, and Post State has the first man at third base between either side here today. And they're looking to capitalize on it with River Iverson coming to the plate with one down.
Yeah, and again, we talked about small ball, and we saw a hit and run right there that Coach White put on. I saw him with the first pitch. He had his stopwatch out and was timing the delivery of Heyman to the plate to try to figure out, how much of a lead could Andrew Coverdale get at first base if he sent him, and so put the hit and run play on and worked to perfection.
And Andy Gordon, he did strike out in that first at bat, but he doesn't strike out very often. He doesn't get fooled a lot and can make contact more times than not. And he ripped that one down the third base line. The third baseman had a shot at it, but that was a tough play, and rightfully so, was awarded a hit. And it's now first and third here with one down. And Iverson's a guy that you never know. He might try and drop down a safety squeeze. With the way he bunts, too, you could put down a suicide squeeze because you feel confident that wherever that pitch is at, he's going to at least make contact, whether he's going to foul it back to save Coverdale or put it in play to score him, to give Post State a 1-0 lead.
Could also look at some sort of a box steal with Gordon trying to get to second, trying to draw a throw from the catcher and hopefully allow Coverdale to get home. So any kind of options here. Big strategy session right now. Coach White, as the West Fargo coach, came out to talk to the infield and Heyman on the mound, had a conversation between Coverdale, River Iverson, and Matt Lusk, the on-deck hitter, over in the third base coaching box during that timeout.
First pitch was chopped foul to the third base dugout where Post State is positioned. The 0-1 pitch, Heyman comes set on its way, and that one's upstairs. And looked like maybe they're calling for a pitch out as the catcher and Mertz got up and moved to the left, but the pitch ended up being high straight over the plate, and it's now 1-1. Nobody was off as Gordon stays at first base.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Mertz is probably a little taller than your average catcher. He probably is, just eyeballing him. He looks like he checks in at about 6'1", 6'2", and he had to use every inch of that to elevate and get that ball because it was headed for the backstop if he didn't have a little vertical under his jump there.
Pickoff attempt, back in, diving safely is Gordon.
Heyman's got a good move to first base.
He does.
He's quick, and Post State's been the beneficiary of a couple of close calls. He did pick River Iverson off last inning to retire him, or 2 innings ago. So he's got a good move to first base.
Here's the 1-1, and that one's fouled back, and it's now 1-2. Gordon was off with a pitch, so he'll return back to first base. And the count again, 1-2 to River Iverson with one down. This is an opportunity. The last thing you don't want, the two things you don't want is ground to a double play or strike out. You want to put the ball in play somewhere to at least advance that runner to second, and more importantly, try and get that run to score. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Iverson will foul it away, and a good spoil job there by Iverson to stay alive as the count remains at 1-2.
Yeah, and with a runner on first, again, you do want to stay out of the double play. With runner on third and less than 2 out, really, you go up with the plan as a hitter where you're trying to hit the ball either to the right side or potentially elevate, get something into the outfield deep enough where you can score Coverdale on the fly ball.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Iverson again will foul away, and it will remain at 1-2, and a good job. Iverson last week against Watertown, 2 weeks ago, it's Watertown. Boy, all those games are starting to run together here. End up playing or having a really long at bat. I believe it was a 13-pitch at bat against Watertown, and just continue to foul off pitch after pitch after pitch, and he's looking to try and do the same thing here, at least win the battle and find a way to get on base. Pickoff attempt again, back in safely. And again, another good move there from Heyman, and almost looked like he was almost falling off the mound as he was throwing it. He'll come set again. Here comes the 1-2 again to River Iverson. Long wait. Here's the pitch. That one's popped up. as Gordon's going to get back to first. The catcher is going to make the catch in Mertz, and a great job there by Mertz to find that right next to the netting. It was able to make the catch, and there's now 2 down, and it's up to Matt Lusk to get a base hit to drive in the first run of the ball game.
Yeah, a good battle from River Iverson. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to produce the result the Eights wanted on that play. And like we said, you're looking to put something in play. Hopefully get that runner home from third base in the person of Andrew Coverdale. But right now, it's going to take either a base hit, an error, or some kind of a wild pitch pass ball for that run to score.
Wouldn't be surprised if maybe Gordon wants to try and get himself picked off to get a chance for Coverdale to try and score. Although, again, with 2 outs, you got to make sure that does happen. With 1 out, it's a little bit easier. If he ends up getting picked off, you still get a chance to drive him in. But now with 2 down, if he gets into a pickle, and you got to make sure Coverdale does score before he gets tagged out. 1-0 is over for strike 1. Count is even here at 1-1 to Matt Lusk, who he's 0 for 1 so far. He flew out to the right fielder in his lone at bat. Play here in the bottom of the 4th inning. No score between Pierre and West Fargo. Runners at first and third. Coverdale's over at third. Gordon at first. 1-1 pitch. There's a ground ball to the left side. Fielded on the run by the third baseman. The throw to first. It will end the inning. A good job there by Oster to undercut Erlab to make that play and to retire the side here in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. We have played 4 completes and no score between Pierre and West Fargo. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the 5th inning. No score between Pierre and West Fargo. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. It is 7, 8, 9. Drew Klaus, Nolan Dobbs, and Lance Oster to lead things off as Carr is back here at the top of the 5th.
Just checking some of the severe weather reports. Looks like for now, most of the storms are staying out in the western part of the state, out in the Rapid City area, Rapid City, New Underwood area. It doesn't look like there's an imminent threat to the central South Dakota area right now, but you need to keep an eye on the sky tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And even over here, we're in Humboldt, most of it staying in Sioux Falls. Got to be careful of some severe weather that could make it its way over here as well. Trying to lay down a bunt the first pitch, and fouling it off will be Klaus, the DH, as that one came in on the hands and close to his foot. If you'd have been able to pull back, you might have been able to get hit by a pitch and been on base.
Yeah, again, Carr, again, very efficient, 51 pitches through 4 innings. I mean, he's cruising right now, and you just are really looking for him to get through the lineup just one more time.
The 0-1 is popped up into center field. Matt Lusk will come over for it to his right, make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired here to open up the top of the 5th inning. So far here in this ball game, we've had 1 man between in the first 9 half innings to reach base to open up an inning. River Iverson led off the second, reaching on air. He was later picked off, so the leadoff man has not been on base for very long when he has been on base the 1 time so far as we play in the top 5th.
Makes it not a real tough game to coach because there's not a lot of strategy involved if the leadoff man doesn't get on.
Yeah, you open up a lot of your plays, your chance for a steal or a bunt if you get that leadoff man on base. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one's upstairs now. 2-0 here to Nolan Dodds, the left fielder. He bunted the ball in the top of the 2nd to lead off the top of the third. And with a good play by Kobe Carr and a good scoop over at first by Gordon to retire him. Here's the 2-0 from Carr to Dots. That one will bounce in now 3-0. This West Fargo team a little bit more chattery than we've heard in the first 4 innings.
Yeah, a little more rambunctious as we get getting towards the back half of this game here in the top of the 5th.
Count is 3-0 here from Carr to Dodds. On deck is the number 9 hitter in Oster. Here is the 3-0 pitch. That one is over for strike one, and Carr will look to battle all the way back. Still good hitters count here for the number 8 hitter in Dodds.
Kobe Carr, the future Dakota Wesleyan Tiger. Dual sport athlete going to Dakota Wesleyan to play football and run track and be a Tiger down in Mitchell for the next 4 years.
Count is now 3-2 as that one's fouled back. And talk about a guy that's going to give you everything every time he's on the field, on whether baseball field, football field, on the track itself. He guarantee you he's going to outwork everybody else by just the work ethic and the attitude that Carr has, as that one's fouled back and it remains at 3-2.
Yeah, if there was one word I would use to describe Kobe Carr, it's intense. I mean, you just rarely see him without just kind of, and I don't want to call it a half scowl, but there's just an intensity on his face every time he steps across the line. 3-2
pitch. That one's flown into right field. Jack Van Camp coming on for it, slides, and he makes the catch. Van Camp with a great sliding grab. And there's 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning.
And Dodds rounding first and just kind of stood and then looked out at Jack Van Camp laying prone out in right field and just kind of looked out there, kind of like, I can't buy a break tonight.
Exactly. It's okay. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County that's been issued. So depending on what Zach and Nelson, he might be on his way back to the station. But if there is severe weather coverage, you'll be over on the country station, Country 95.3 and on Capital City Rock. That one's floating into right field in the shallow right field, but in foul territory, a land foul. And it's 0-1 to Lance Oster, who walked and was stranded at third base. So he was the other runner to be stranded at third. The one of 2 runners in the game that have reached third base, one for West Fargo and one for Pierre. I was going to make a mention of that. You talk about the intense that Carr has. And usually, just about every time I see Kobe, he always says hi to me, and asks me how I'm doing. He knew he was going to be the starting pitcher by the time that I walked by him. There was no eye contact between the two of us. I was not about to break the intensity that he had. He was not about to break the intensity that he had, as that one's over for strike 2, is now 0-2. And it wasn't, and I have no hard feelings about that at all. I would have felt worse if I would have broke his intensity and kind of ruined his routine of getting ready to pitch. But you could see in his face that he was getting in the zone to be the starting pitcher here. And that's pitchers in general. I'm was a pitcher in high school, and I can attest to that. The 0-2 pitch, that one's grounded up the middle for a base hit, and that will extend the inning to the top of the order for Quade Peters. And a guy like CC Sabathia for I guess you pitched for the Indians, for the Brewers, and for the Yankees. They said that 4 of the 5 days you could say anything to him and joke with him about anything. He was the biggest jokester on the team. But that 5th day, when it was his turn to start, you don't dare talk to him. Otherwise, you're in for an earful from him very quickly.
Yeah, when you talk about intensity, and I'm going to hit one right into your wheelhouse. When I talk about Bob Gibson, I saw a post the other day. I think it was his July 1968 numbers was 12 starts, 8 complete games, 6 shutouts. I can't remember what it was, just some phenomenal number. I mean, and back in the day when he was probably going on 2 or 3 days rest in most occasions.
I still don't think the word pitch count is in his vocabulary. I think he would probably burn that dictionary if he found one that had pitch count in it. As the count is now 1-1 to the leadoff hitter in the order, Quade Peters. 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. No score between West Fargo and Pierre. Runner at first is Oster. Are looking to get out of this top of the 5th.
You were telling the story the other day, I think, about the St. Louis manager who
yes,
who was joking with one of his players about what kind of death stare he would get from Bob Gibson if he came to try to take him out of the game.
Tim McCarver didn't like going out and talking to him, but the manager told him to do it anyway because he was scared of Bob Gibson. And then Tim McCarver had to go out there, and Gibson would tell him, "You just turn around and go back and catch. You don't know anything about pitching except you can't hit it." The 2-1 pitch from Carr to Quade Peters. Grounded to the left side. Keenel is on the short hobble field to throw to first. And it's 5 shutout innings for Kobe Carr as he strands the runner at first base off the 2-out hit. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 4.5 with no score. Post State's looking to break that scoreless tie. Listen to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.
7, 8, 9.
Bottom of the 5th inning, no score between Pierre and West Fargo, as it will be for Post State 7, 8, 9. McGuire Rasky, Jack Van Camp, and Kate Hinkle, both all looking for their first hit here in this ball game. My dad texted me and said, Gibson, the best pitcher ever, with exclamation point. he got to grow
He's
up.
not biased, is he?
No, I don't think so. He got to grow up and watch him quite a bit and listen to a lot of baseball games with him on the mound because, well, what game wasn't Bob Gibson pitching in his prime, which lasted a long time too. First pitch from Heyman to McGuire Rasky. There's a line shot to left field. That's down for a base hit. Just the second hit of the ball game for Post State, and the second time the leadoff man is aboard here for the 8s in the bottom of the 5th inning. Now bring in Jack Van Camp, the right fielder, back-to-back lefties, actually 3 straight lefties. Actually, when you go into it, now it'll be 4 straight lefties here in this inning because it'll be Van Camp, then Hinkle, and then Stout before we get back to the next right-handed hitter in Lincoln Keenels.
Yeah, and a little bit out of the ordinary. I mean, you do have this string of 4 straight lefties followed by 4 straight righties in the Post State lineup today.
First pitch to Van Camp is outside for ball 1. They usually see more of a every other right-handed, left-handed hitter, but here you get, as you said, 4 straight right-handed, then 4 straight left-handed hitting, or I guess 5 straight right-handed hitting, and then 4 straight left-handers. Trying to hit with 8 guys. Don't think it really worked too well. Heyman will deliver the 1-0. Van Camp will sky it into shallow right field. The second baseman in fair territory drifts into foul territory to make the catch, and Jacobson. And there's 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Bringing Kate Hinkle.
Good catcher, number 2.
Yeah, we've talked about the number of left-handed bats that Coach White can stick into this lineup. I think we talked if you really wanted to stack it as much as possible, you could put up to 7 in the lineup at any one time. I mean, that's more than have come through the Post State system, I think, in almost the last decade. But
yeah, it's hard to find left-handed hitters growing up. As the first pitch, Hinkle swings and misses, as it was a true hit and run because Hinkle swung at a ball just to swing at it, and he was nowhere close to making contact, but it was able to get Rasky to get to second on the steal, and it's a 1-0 or 0-1 count. I mean, Hinkle was 2 feet below the ball, just putting the swing on as the hit and run.
Yeah, that was. He waved at that one as it went by, and you're right. I mean, I think that ball was out in the right-handed batter's box.
The 0-1 pitch. Hinkle will pop it up on the left side, giving chase to the third baseman Oster, and he's going to run out of room, and it's now 0-2.
Looking around the outfield here in Humboldt, it's 320 down each line, 375 to straightaway center, and then kind of just runs up a little bit of a hill to a service road out behind, and a couple of softball fields out beyond home plate or out beyond the center field fence. So again, nice picturesque setting here in Humboldt to start the weekend.
0-2 is missed inside, now 1-2. Thought about when seeing some of these people line up in the outfield and with their cars. Thought about if I brought the generator along, we could have called the game out from behind the center field. Would have been kind of fun to do that. But a little bit hotter than in here in the press box. 1-2 pitch. That one will get away from the catcher. It's now 2-2, and Rasky's down at third base. And a fly ball to the outfield can make this a 1-0 lead here for the Eights.
Yeah, fly ball or a ground ball to the right side. And so now if you're Hinkle, now you got to have a little different approach. I mean, before you were probably thinking more base hit, but right now, and with West Fargo playing the infield in, the old adage about when the infield comes in on the grass, the batting average goes up 100 points.
Here's the 2-2 to Hinkle. That one's popped up and fouled out of play, and it'll remain at 2-2. And now a ball that's hit a little bit softer that the shortstop could usually play if he's in his normal position. He won't be able to make that catch. It could drop for a base hit. And again, just something in the outfield could make this a 1-0 ball game for the Eights. 2-2. Outside, 3-2. And if a walk to Hinkle could bring up Garrett Stout. And you might see Hinkle go in motion too. Here's the 3-2. Outside, and Hinkle draws a walk after being down 0-2 in the count. And it's now a one-out walk, and runners at the corners.
Hinkle, not a surprise. He draws the walk. He's the team leader in walks at 17, now 18 on the year to go with his 265 batting average.
And now the middle of the infield, we'll see if they back up to be in double play depth. But with the speed of Stout, it's going to take a really hard hit ground ball to either the shortstop or second baseman to start that double play. They will go back in the middle, still in at the corners with first and third. Here's a pitch. Stout will lace in the left center field. The center fielder will move over and make the catch. Rasky will tag up. He's going to try and score. He will score. And it's a sac fly from Garrett Stout, and Post State has drawn first blood here in the bottom of the fifth inning. They lead a sac fly from Garrett Stout.
And that's a good aggressive approach at the plate. I mean, we talked about runs being at a premium, and against a good pitcher like Heyman, that first pitch, as you try to get ahead in the count, that first pitch may be the best pitch you see in the at bat. And so if you can go up with a small strike zone looking for that one pitch, and that's exactly what he got from Heyman, was fastball over the plate, and he just turned on it and was able to drive it into left center field, and the sac fly scored McGuire Rasky from third, and we got a 1-0 lead for the Eights here in the fifth.
Here is Lincoln Keenholz with two down in the bottom of the fifth inning. He is hit by the first pitch he sees, and that will make it first and second. Another man in scoring position for the number 3 hitter, and Andrew Coverdale, who's been on base twice.
And again, probably the right guy in the right situation here for the Eights. We've talked about a guy who just hits the ball hard. And right now with 2 outs, Hinkle has good speed, and I don't even want to qualify good when I say good speed for a catcher. He's just got good speed, period. We saw him do a lot of good things out on the football field last year from his kind of hybrid safety linebacker position, and then as well as return punts, and actually ran a couple of punts back for TDs last year. So
he also had an interception at Spearfish where he was about 2 steps out of bounds and took it all the way to the house for a touchdown. The referee saw him. He says that the referee was looking right at him when he stepped out of play, and he never said he was out of bounds. That ball is going to get to the backstop, so Hinkle will move up 90 feet. Lincoln Keenholz up to second, and there's now 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 down. For Andrew Coverdale, he's got a 1-0 count.
Yeah, and this is turning into a big at bat right now. If Coverdale can deliver a base hit, which he certainly is capable of, a base hit here with 2 outs, Keenholz will be off on contact. This is likely going to score 2 and give the Eights a little breathing room here in the fifth if Coverdale can deliver.
Coverdale will ground it to the right side. It'll be fielded by the second baseman, Jacobson. The throw to first will end the inning, and they're able to maneuver around those 2 runners in scoring position. But the first run of the ball game, it came around to score the sac fly from Garrett Stout. 1 run on 1 hit in the inning, no errors, and 2 men left on base. 5 are in the books. Post State has a 1-0 lead over West Fargo. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. Top of the sixth inning here for for West Fargo as they trail 1-0. Kobe Carr has thrown 5 shutout innings so far for the Eights as he'll deal with 2, 3, and 4. Dustin Mertz, Brayton Jacobson, and Ryan Reynolds. If anybody reaches base, it'll be Alex Erlab. Just 2 hits so far in the ball game for West Fargo. As again, we're still watching that severe weather that's starting to head into Jackson County on the very, very western portion of Jackson County. So, as news director Zach Nelson kind of stays waiting just to see what might happen next. You can keep it here for severe weather coverage throughout the night as it is available, and hopefully maybe Zach will get the night off, just kind of hanging out at the station waiting for it to happen. That'd be good for a lot of people, as we've had a lot of severe weather the last several weeks. As the first pitch to Mertz is over for strike 1. He is 1 for 2. He lined out to the third baseman and also got a base hit in the top of the third inning.
Yeah, the National Weather Service office out of Rapid City is reporting the potential for softball-size hail moving towards the Badlands National Park. I mean, that so if you have KCCR on and you're headed west on I-90, or you're in the neighborhood of the Badlands National Park, be prepared, because you may be headed into some nasty weather.
Iverson going back on the ball out towards left field and right near the fence will make the catch, and the leadoff man is retired to open up the top of the sixth inning. Mertz put a charge on that. That's probably the hardest hit ball and the best hit ball that West Fargo has had so far through 5 1/3 against Carr.
Yeah, and Iverson had to go a long way into left center, and actually there's no actual warning track here in Humboldt, but he would have been standing on the warning track had there been one there. Looking at the flag out in right field, the wind is blowing in and maybe blew in just enough to hold that ball in the field.
Jacobson will drop down a bunt. It'll be fielded by Keenels. The throw to first is not in time. It's a 1-out infield hit for Braden Jacobson. His first hit of the ball game. Second time he's been aboard. And Kobe Carr will look for a ground ball now as Ryan Reynolds will step to the plate. He's 0 for 2.
Yeah, just a well-placed bunt, and we've seen this West Fargo team not be afraid to lay down a couple bunts so far. I mean, so it's certainly a tool that they've got in their arsenal.
And even with one down, you might even think about putting down another bunt to put him in scoring position and just need one base hit to try and tie the ball game up. Carr will check the runner at first, and Jacobson, the first pitch to Ryan Reynolds. Instead, check over at first, diving back in safely is Jacobson. He was leaning just a little bit. And
I kept an eye on him. I wasn't even watching Carr, and he was flinching. He's teed up and ready to go. I expect he's probably off on first motion.
Carr will come set here again. First pitch. That one will get to the backstop, and to second base will be Jacobson, so now he is in scoring position. It was not Ryan Reynolds showing bunt, but even if he was going to maybe the next pitch, doesn't have to anymore, as there's now a runner at second with one down. Jake Mayer looked like he was warming up in the bullpen for Post State. As much of a bullpen, maybe there might be one all the way down to the left side, but Mayer was playing catch. As Carr will come set. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will miss in outside, now 2-0.
Yeah, unfortunately for Post State, the previous pitch skipped to the backstop and allowed Jacobson to get to second without West Fargo having to do some kind of a sacrifice or record an out.
2-0 pitch upstairs, now 3-0. And with a base open, it's not you don't have to throw to Reynolds. I assume he's got the red lights. He might have the green light, though, the cleanup hitter in the order. You might see Reynolds try and swing the bat here. 3-0 pitch. That will miss anyway. And it's a 4-pitch walk. But now a ground ball can get you out of the inning. Alex Erlab will step to the base. Popped down the infield and flew out to the right fielder in Jack Van Camp.
Yeah, Carr now at 76 pitches through 5 1/3, so he's still well under his pitch count. I mean, if he can get out of here ideally, if you could throw a ground ball double play and get out of this inning, he is well under his pitch count. Potentially has the option of throwing a complete game. the other thing that's going on right now is you're facing the heart of the West Fargo order. If you can get out of this in the next batter or two, get out of this inning, and then go into the top of the seventh with a lead, you're facing the bottom 3-4 batters in the order. A good place to be going into the seventh.
Post State leads 1-0. It's number 5 hitter in Erlab. The first pitch, swing and a miss. After a 4-pitch walk, he throws a first pitch breaking ball, and Erlab swings and misses, which you would maybe expect. And, well, this West Fargo team hits the ball really well. It's not one that you say, okay, he's throwing 4 straight. I'm gonna wait on that first strike. As the 0-1 pitch, that one will miss outside. Now 1-1.
And again, you certainly don't want to leave something up, because we talked about how well this West Fargo team can hit. And so big at bat right here. Really looking for Carr to deliver a key pitch in this at bat.
Here's the 1-1 from Carr to Erlab. There's a ground ball to the left side. Diving play by Keenels at third. He'll throw the long way to first. It's in time for the second out. That's a great play from Keenels. Could have saved a run by making that diving play, and there's now 2 down, but there are 2 runners in scoring position. But at that play, you'll take the out and trade those guys in scoring position.
Yeah, and without having a great angle up here, it almost looked to me like maybe he had an opportunity to just tag the runner going by and going to third. And and that's a bang play. I mean, like you said, what you really are looking for is just record the out. I mean, you're just really looking to get the out, and you'll trade an out right now for the base runners right now.
Cooper Borchardt will run at second. He will take over for Ryan Reynolds. So Borchardt is on at second base. He is representing the go-ahead run here in the top of the 6th inning. A 1-0 lead for the Eights with 2 down. Second and third, 3 hits apiece for Post States and for West Fargo. The difference in the ball game right now is just that 1 run. And here is Anthony Villanueva, who is 0 for 2. He grounded the second baseman, also flew out to right field. So here's the first pitch to Villanueva. There's a ground ball left side again. Stout will field to the back end. Long throw to first. And Gordon will stretch and make the play. He is on the bag, and that will retire the side here in the top of the 6th inning. And Post State gets out of another jam. And we remain with a 1-0 lead for the Eights after 5.5. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Head to the bottom of the 6th. Post State 1-0 lead. Listen to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here, bottom of the 6th inning, it is Post State leading 1-0 over West Fargo. 4, 5, and 6. Andy Gordon, River Iverson, and Matt Lusk to lead things off, trying to extend that lead. And Kobe Carr has done a magnificent job through 6 innings, worked out of danger a couple of different times, and especially in that top of the 6th with the runners at second and third. Stout makes a great play on the back end and a long throw, and Gordon, who's up to the plate, makes a perfect stretch to retire the side. Here's the first pitch to Gordon. He'll ground that one up the middle. The infield grass slows it up for the second baseman, and Jacobson the throw to first, who Reynolds is back into the game in the re-entry rule to make the catch in 1 pitch and 1 out to open up the bottom of the 6th inning.
Left fielder number 20.
That'll bring in River Iverson. So we'll see if Carr will come out in the top of the 7th inning to try and get the complete game shutout. Mayer had been throwing to the left of the dugout of Post State. First pitch to Iverson's over for strike one.
Iverson hitting 361 on the year, 61 at bats, 22 hits, a pair of doubles, 6 RBIs, 15 runs scored.
The 0-1 is bounced in, now 1-1. If Post State wins this ball game here for this first game, they just need to win one of the next two to at least put them in contention to play on Sunday. If they beat West Central to open up, then they feel, then they're in their driver's seat that they win one more. I mean, you control your own destiny if you win all three. But if you go 2-1, you at least you'll have to sit around and wait to see in the tiebreaker rules if you end up playing on Sunday or not. As it counts 2-2 here to Iverson.
Yeah, and the two guys who probably made the best defensive plays in that previous half inning are the guys that are up, and that tends to be the way it works more times than not. Gordon with the great stretch at first base to record the third out, and then Iverson went a long ways into left center field to record the fly ball earlier in the inning. So unfortunately, they both get out, and so now we're 2 down and headed to Matt Lusk here with 2 down in the bottom of the 6th.
Iverson swung and missed at the 2-2 pitch to strike out as he was now 0 for 3. Here's Matt Lusk, who's 0 for 2. First pitch was at the letters for strike one. 11 a.m. is the start time of game 1 tomorrow for Post State. They'll play back-to-back games. They'll face West Central at 11 a.m. and then the second game against Sioux Falls East, which is scheduled for 1:15. As is now 0-2 here to Lusk. Here's the 0-2. That one will miss outside, and we'll be on the air around 10:45 tomorrow morning. And we hope that the rain doesn't come through the Sioux Falls area and through Humboldt, as we like to. This field's in great condition as it is, as the 1-2 is fouled back, but a little skeptical of being able to hold a whole lot of water if it does rain a lot here tonight. So hopefully that rain stays away and we can play here, because this is a great facility here in Humboldt. This is a great ballpark. I love the atmosphere of this ballpark as the 1-2 is popped up into center field. Camping underneath it is Peters. He will make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 6th. Post State looking to close out a complete game shutout. They lead 1-0 over West Fargo. Back in a minute. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here for the top of the 7th inning, you're listening to KCCR Pierre, Riverfront Broadcasting Station. Kobe Carr is on the mound trying to close this one out, which would be a complete game shutout for Carr, as he's got 26 pitches remaining. And, of course, if he starts that, if he's got 2 outs and he throws that 26 pitch in the middle of the at-bat, he has a chance to finish that at-bat before he has to be relieved. So he's got plenty of pitches to work with, Greg, here to try and close this one out with 7, 8, and 9 up here for West Fargo.
And anytime you're into the 7th inning in a tight ball game, the first batter of the inning is a huge batter. I mean, you really need to retire this first batter, otherwise things just get a little tight, and you give the West Fargo opportunity to put some plays on, whether it be a bunt, hit and run, steal. So this first batter is really going to be a key batter for Kobe Carr if he's got an opportunity to finish this game.
First pitch is missed low. That is to the pitcher that is now hitting for himself. And Heyman, the 1-0 is upstairs now 2-0. It is Heyman, Dodds, and then Oster. If anybody reaches base, it'll go back to the top of the order in Peters. And we'll kind of keep a track of that pitch count. But for Carr, he's got plenty to work with again to try and work his way into a complete game shutout. 6 scoreless so far. 1-0 lead for the Eights. Here's the 2-0 pitch. That one will also miss, now 3-0. And we'll see how long Coach White will go with him in this top of the 7th inning. If he maybe walks 2, that they might give him the hook to try and bring somebody else in to try and close it out. And maybe even Matt Lusk, who can throw and then still be ready for tomorrow as well. 3-0 is over for strike one, now 3-1.
This game's setting up almost identical to the Fargo game that Post 8 played up in Watertown a week ago, where the 8s led 1-0 going into the 7th, and unfortunately let that one slip through their fingers and lost that one 2-1. And so the leadoff walk to Heyman, unfortunately, sets the stage for some late game heroics for the West Fargo Patriots.
And the first time in 7 innings, the leadoff man has reached base, as it'll bring in Nolan Dodds, the left fielder, who's 0 for 2. He had a bunt attempt that was fielded by Carr in the 3rd inning, and he also flew out to the right fielder in Van Camp, who made a fantastic sliding play going to his left. And nobody down here in the top of the 7th. Nolan Dodds, I wouldn't be surprised. Lincoln Keno's playing at the edge of the infield grass, playing in front of the third base bag, expecting a bunt coming from Dodds to try and get that tying run into scoring position. First pitch from Carr, showing bunt, pulling it back, and taking high for ball 1.
And we've seen West Fargo put down a couple of really good bunts so far today, so it would not surprise me if you see Dodds lay one down right here. West Fargo and calling a timeout to have a conversation between the head coach and the third base batter's box, or third base coach's box, and Dodds, and we'll see what kind of strategy he's got cooking here. Maybe there's a steal coming, hit and run, protection swing. If that's in order, then you potentially bunt him over to third. We'll see what the strategy is right here.
Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will miss outside, and it's now 2-0.
And I think what you try to do here, if you're Kobe Carr, is you don't try to get too fine. The Dodds is willing to give himself up. So I think what you really need to do right here is just throw the strike. If he's willing to give himself up and take the out, even if you end up moving the runner over, just take the out and take your chances from there. 2-0
pitch comes inside, now 3-0. And Carr's got to find the strike zone here. Otherwise, he's going to put 2 guys on base without allowing anybody to swing the bats. And with Dodds, like you said, Greg, trying to give himself up for an out, you don't want to put him on first base without him actually putting the ball into play. Probably taking all the way here on a 3-0 count. He'll show bunt, pulls it back, and it's inside for ball 4. And the first 2 have reached base. And that might do it for Carr, as Coach White will make his way out.
Bring up number 1, Lance Oster.
And Lance Oster will be the next hitter, and we'll see. And White is going to the bullpen. So Kobe Carr is not going to get the complete game, but Post State still trying to get him the shutout and try and finish this one out. First and second with nobody out. We'll tell you the changes. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Jake Mayer is on the mound for Post State, trying to get the final 3 outs here in the top of the 7th. First and second with nobody out. Lance Oster, the number 9 hitter, go back to the top of the order. And Mayer's got a lot of work in front of him here, trying to keep this a scoreless game for West Fargo and pick up the win for Post State. As we have a man at second, that is Heyman, and then at first is Dodds. It'd be interesting here, Greg, what they want to do with this first hitter in Oster. If you bunts him over, he can put two guys in scoring position with one out, but he can also, a ground ball could force a double play, although that runner at second would get to third. Be interesting what they want to try and do here. And, of course, if Keenholz is going to come in and the bunt's not had, Stout's got to get over to third base. Keenholz almost has to play back, and Gordon, as he's playing in, will have to be the man charging on a bunt attempt. That one is bunted down right back to the pitcher, and Maryhill bare hand. Throw to first is wide, and Gordon cannot make the tag. He did make the tag. He made the tag. That's a fantastic play by Gordon. That's a huge play right there by Gordon. And there's now one down, and we'll have an argument coming from the third base coach here for West Fargo.
Yeah, and the West Fargo coach is coming out asking for an appeal from the field umpire. He was not in a good position to see the angle of the tag. He looked immediately to the home plate umpire, and the home plate umpire immediately called out because he's got a view right down the line, and so now the West Fargo coach is going to go and plead his case to the home plate umpire, and I'd be shocked if he's able to be successful on this, because from the third base box over there, he's looking across the field, and so the first base umpire was looking right down the line. He had the best angle on the play.
And to be honest, it didn't look like Gordon made the tag. From up here, it didn't look like he made the tag, but the home plate umpire who's got that line of sight, although he's farther away at home plate, whenever that call is made, that base umpire calling down the home plate, he calls him out. There's really nothing you can do about that. I mean, you could talk to him, ask him what they saw, but there's nothing that's going to change with it.
And as I was looking down, again, we're in the press box just right above the first base dugout. I looked down at the conversation going between the first base coach and Dodds or Oster, and he just shook his head like he didn't tag me. So
and it'd be interesting. You can ask Andy Gordon after the game if he made that tag or not, but. Right now, it counts as a tag, and there's one out, and there's one strike here. The leadoff hitter and Quade Peters with second and third. Runners are off with a pitch, trying to steal, and they're going to run themselves in the second out. But Hinkle dropped the ball. So it's now a runner at third, and the game is tied, and Coach White's now going to come out and maybe talk about him being on the baseline. But the game right now is tied at 1-1. Hinkle... They're saying that he dropped the ball, and maybe White's saying that he was going up with it to try and throw it over to third base. But he's not going to win that appeal, and Post States, they had themselves run out of this, or West Fargo had run out of the second out. But now Coach White is talking about being out of the baseline, and now they're going to have a conversation with the umpire.
Yeah, and this one has the hallmark of being a firestorm, regardless of how you cut it. Somebody's going to be unhappy, and unfortunately, the guys in blue are caught right in the middle of this thing.
And I think here for Coach White, they're going to call him safe, and it's going to be a tie ball game. And Coach White not happy. He wasn't too happy with Hinkle not being able to hold on to that ball. That was a surefire out, and it was going to be a runner at third with two outs. But instead, the game is now tied with one out here in the top of the seventh. And unfortunately for Kobe Carr, he still might factor the decision. They're going to try it again. That one's popped up. Hinkle is going to try and go back to make the catch. He will. There's two down, and they're not going to make the throw to third. So there's two outs here in the top of the seventh inning, trying another suicide squeeze, but that was popped up foul. And Hinkle is able to make the catch. And obviously they would not have tried that with two outs if that first play was made. But that could have been the end of the ball game. Post State could have won this one 1-0. Instead, they still got to get one more out here for Dustin Mertz has come to the plate, who is 1 for 3. First pitch. There's a ground ball to the left side, fielded by Stout. The throw to first is going to be quick, and he's safe at first, and West Fargo has taken a 2-1 lead. And
that was and Garrett Stout just took too much time on that play. He wanted to make sure that he gloved the ball, and then he set himself up to throw, and I don't think he realized how fast Mertz was down the line, and Mertz beat the throw across the field by half a step, and unfortunately that's a couple of defensive lapses for Post State, and they will I don't know if they'll go down as errors or not, but at the very least, they were mental errors, unfortunately.
So Mayer will go from the stretch here with 2 down. The inning continues. There's a line shot right to Stout, and that will end the top of the 7th inning. But West Fargo scores 2 runs in the inning with just 1 hit. No errors for Post State. 1 man left on base. It is a 2-1 lead here for West Fargo, and for Post State, they'll have 7, 8, 9 trying to tie the ball game up. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1 lead here for West Fargo. As Heyman will work into the 7th inning, trying for a complete game. We've given up just 1 run so far. That came back in the 5th inning. But I will say this, 7, 8, 9 here for Post State. This is what the exact order that they had up in the bottom of the 5th when they scored their 1 run. So if things are, you say a 7, 8, 9, you hope that it was more like 1, 2, and 3. But 7, 8, 9 got the job done and give Post State a 1-0 lead. And they're going to try and find a way to tie this one up here in the bottom of the 7th and at least force extra innings. If not, try and win this one in the bottom of the 7th. And Gray, this is going to be one of 2 ways, a heartbreak loss for Post State or one that shows another sign of a really good team trying to battle back after getting up the lead. They did this at Rapid City. They gave up the lead in the top of the 7th inning, came back and won it in the bottom of the 7th. They're trying to do the same thing here.
Almost came back and battled back and beat Mandan after being down 6-3 or in the 6-2 and came back and scored 3 in the 7th and almost pulled that one out of the fire. So this team is certainly capable of some late game heroics, and we'll see if they can do it here.
Bottom of the 7th, first pitch from Heyman to Rasky's upstairs for ball 1. Rasky got a base hit in his second at bat. He's 1 for 2 so far. Rasky, Jack Van Camp, Cade Hinkle, first 3 hitters here for Post State. Trying to find a way to score at least 1 run. Rasky will take strike 1, and it's now a 1-1 count. And Rasky looked back to see if they called it a swing or for a strike or a called strike, and most likely it would have been a called strike to Rasky. Here's the 1-1. That one's upstairs and outside, 2-1. Heyman is into the 7th inning. He's trying for a complete game. Kobe Carr right now in line. They're trying to bail him out. He's in line for the loss, giving up just those leadoff walks that came around to score in the top of the 7th. 2-1 is at the knees now, 2-2 here to McGuire Rasky. All starts with the leadoff man. Post State has got the leadoff man on twice. Iverson was retired, picked off. Rasky scored. 2-2 is fouled back. And we'll do it again at an even count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And just like we talked about in the top of the inning, I mean, the leadoff man here in the bottom of the inning is a vital part of any rally that you can put together. And so let's see if McGuire Rasky can deliver.
2-2, just fouled by Rasky as he's swinging out of his shoes to stay alive. And it'll remain at 2-2. He twisted himself around and looked like a pretzel coming across the box.
He and the home plate umpire exchanging pleasantries. The home plate umpire got a big smile on his face over whatever was said.
Here's a 2-2 again to Rasky. Swings and misses. He goes down on strikes, and the leadoff man is retired. Here in the bottom of the 7th, and that'll bring up Jack Van Camp. It was 0 for 2. Ground out to the second baseman, and also popped out to the second baseman in his 2 at-bats.
Van Camp coming into the game batting .268, 11 hits, 41 at-bats. He's got a triple and 2 home runs, including that big grand slam down in Brandon a couple of weeks ago. And the 3-run homer last week. And so 7 of his 9 RBIs have come on 2 swings this year. It would be nice if he could put another one over the fence here.
He's swinging for it right there on that 1-0 count, now 1-1 here to Van Camp. Cade Hinkle is on deck. Then we go back to the top of the order for Garrett Stout. Here's the 1-1. That one will get the zone, now 1-2 here to Jack Van Camp.
Not sure Van Camp totally agreed with that call. He thought maybe it was a little low, but home plate umpire said, nah, it's in my strike zone.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one is on the outside edge, and that's taken for strike 3, and Van Camp goes down on strikes, and the first 2 men are retired by the strikeout by Heyman, and he's 1 out away from a complete game, and Cade Hinkle will try and keep this ball game alive. 2 unfortunate breaks for Post State. Didn't go their way. Hinkle dropped the ball trying to tag the man in the suicide squeeze that wasn't connected with, and then a ground ball that Stout took too much time and allowed those 2 runs to score, the only 2 runs of the ball game for West Fargo. Count is 2-0 here to Hinkle, who is 0 for 1. He struck out in the 3rd and walked in the 5th. Got to find a way to at least have Garrett Stout come up. And Stout is no stranger to walk-off home runs. The 2-0 is over for strike 1. And a walk-off grand slam against Mandan, but obviously if he gets to the plate, you just want him to get on base. You don't need to go for a home run. 2-1, that one's chopped foul. Now Post State down their final strike here this afternoon. And this is a game that Post State will probably have a couple nightmares tonight. The only good thing is that here in about, 16 hours, they get a chance to get back to playing again against West Central. Here's the 2-2. Hinkle grounds it foul again on the first base line. If Post State doesn't fall in this ball game, it'll be 2 0-1 teams at 11 a.m. in West Central and Pierre. And then the 1-0 Sioux Falls East will play at 1:15 against Post State. Here's the 2-2. Just a bit outside, and it's now 3-2. And that one...
There's your Bob Euchre call for the day.
That's right. And that was just a bit outside as well. Here's the 3-2. This is down low, and Garrett Stout will come to the plate here with 2 down in the bottom of the 7th. Has to find a way to push it to Lincoln Keenels. Unless he does go deep to end the ball game. Which, again, it's not out of the question that he can do it. It's just that he's got to find himself a good hitter's count to try it. It's 320 down the right field line. So it is doable down that right field line.
Yeah, and again, Hinkle has good speed, and so with 2 outs, he's off on contact, and so it's just a matter of will he, whatever Stout hits, and you got to know that it's going to probably have to get in a gap or down the line. It's going to have to be an extra base hit, but whatever he hits is going to have to be deep enough to allow Hinkle to score. You're looking for some kind of an extra base hit.
Have a pitching change. We'll tell you what the changes are after this 1-minute break. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here at the bottom of the 7th inning, a new pitcher in Braden Jacobson. He's going to try and get that 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Jacobson will go to the mound. Heyman will go out to second base. That's the only changes. Garrett Stout will be the first man he faces. Jacobson's first pitch to Stout is upstairs and outside for ball 1. On first is Cade Hinkle. Stout here at the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. He represents the winning run. First, 1-0 pitch is over and out. 1-1 to the shortstop Stout also trying to make up for his mental mistake. Just too slow with that ground ball. 1-1. On the outside corner now, 1-2. Stout does not like that call either from the home plate umpire. Now he's got to protect. Down 1-2 in the count. Jacobson looking for that final out. One strike away. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Stout swings and misses, and that won the ball game. And Post State falls 2-1 as they were unable to pick up that shutout in the top of the 7th. And that one will be one that they rue potentially here in the Dakota Classic. As we step aside for 2 minutes, back to the post-game show. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR, and today's KCCR.com. Back here at Humboldt as we welcome you in the post-game show. John Wickler alongside Greg Dean, and West Fargo gets a 2-1 win over Post State in a game that Post State will want to have back, at least that top of the 7th inning. Carr will end up getting the loss. He went 6 shutout innings, did not end up getting the win, did not get the shutout. West Fargo was able to score off of a botched suicide squeeze. Cade Hinkle unable to keep hold of the ball, and it tied the game up. And then a ground ball. The shortstop Stout took just too much time to make that throw to first, allowed the other run to score, and Post State unable to score in the bottom of the 7th. And that was a 2-1 win for West Fargo and puts Post State now in a little bit of a hole. Although, Greg, as we mentioned, we were talking just before we got back out of the commercial break, allowing only those 2 runs helps you out a lot in terms of trying to make to the semifinals on Sunday, because it goes by runs against to be that first tiebreaker for all those teams that finished second in the pool. So that there's a good chance now that Post State, if they win the next 2 games in a low-scoring game, or at least they give up a few runs, that they have a chance to make it on Sunday still.
Yeah, and the way this tournament is set up, there are 3 pools of 4, 12 teams total. So each one of the pool winners advances to the semifinals on Sunday, along with the wild card designee, which, like you said, probably becomes a 2-1 team, a team that finishes with 2 wins and 1 loss in their pool, and has allowed the least number of runs. So again, a game I'm sure that Coach White and the rest of the eights want back. This was a game that they pretty much had in hand. I mean, even though it was only a 1-0 lead going into the 7th, they had this game pretty well in hand, especially the way that it looked like it was going to work out after the missed suicide squeeze at the plate, and then unfortunately it just was not able to complete the defensive end of it, and so the eights, like we talked about, it set up, unfortunately, like the Fargo Post 2 game from about 10 days ago up in Watertown, and it played out exactly like that game. Post State was ahead 1-0 going into the 7th, ended up losing that game 2-1. Exactly the same outcome as what happened today.
As we go through the totals, 2 runs on 4 hits, 1 error, and 7 men left on base for West Fargo. 1 run on 3 hits, 1 error, and 5 men left on base for Post State. Time the ball game was 2 hours exactly as Post State falls 2-1. They come back tomorrow morning, face the other 0-1 team in West Central at 11 a.m., and then we'll play at 1:15, or the next game. It'll be a doubleheader for us. We won't break away from coverage as we'll have a doubleheader for you, West Central and then Sioux Falls East. And again, if you lose to West Central, your tournament's going to end up being done at the end of that 3rd game. But you want to go 1-2 because you want to beat Sioux Falls East. That's the main reason when you're here. The main thing is to beat Sioux Falls East tomorrow afternoon for seed points for the state tournament that's coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So we'll be back on the air 10:45 tomorrow morning. We're the first game of the day, so we can expect to be on at 10:45 in that first pitch right around 11 o'clock right here on today's KCCR, today'skccr.com. Thanks to Ryan Warren, Jacob Mayer at the station, Greg Dean to my left. I'm John Winkler. We'll be back on the air 10:45 tomorrow morning as Post State takes on West Central, 2 teams that are 0-1. Post State loses tonight. They lose 2-1 to West Fargo as we say so long from Humboldt.